Time lawmakers on Capitol Hill have been weighing in on President Trump's firing of FBI Director James Comey since it happened late yesterday. We're bringing in now Alabama Senator Luther Strange, a former Alabama Attorney General who replaced Jeff Sessions when he was sworn in on February 9th. So it's nice to have you on the program, Senator Strange. You have a great background, a legal background for us, and also you're new. You're new to this community on Capitol Hill, and so I'm very curious about your reaction to the news of James Comey firing. What do you think?
Well, thank you for having me on. I do have a perspective of a former prosecutor, a longtime Attorney General in Alabama. I have the benefit of knowing Jeff Sessions as well, and I have the utmost confidence in Senator Sessions, now General Sessions. But where I start is with the professional law enforcement officials involved in this process. So Rod Rosenstein, who I just had the pleasure of confirming along with 93 other of my colleagues, Republicans and Democrats, was tasked with the job of evaluating the FBI chief's performance. I agree with the recommendation he made. I think he was well within his rights to do it. And I think we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that we're talking about now career prosecutors who are going to continue their work regardless of who the director is. So my focus now, particularly as someone who's very much focused on getting the right law enforcement people in place, is who's going to be the next FBI director.
What do you make of the timing of it, though? We do know that there's an ongoing investigation into Russia and their meddling in our election. We have the Russian foreign minister meeting with the president right now as we're speaking. Why now? What about the timing?
Well, that's a good question about the timing, and I'm going to have to leave that to the Trump administration to go through their thinking on that. But I don't think it doesn't bother me, because I think the confidence level between the Deputy Attorney General and the Director of the FBI has to be very high in order for them to function. With regard to the Russian investigation, I also would point out that we have a bipartisan Intelligence Committee investigation ongoing there, and I have great confidence that they will get to the truth wherever it leads, and so we're still waiting to see what they come up with.
I see what you're saying. There's a lot more work to be done. Let me ask you a little bit more about the role of the Attorney General. The President mentioned that the recommendation to fire James Comey came from the Attorney General as well as the Deputy Attorney General. We know that James Comey was leading the investigation into Russia and our election, and that the Attorney General had recused himself from that investigation. So is it appropriate for the Attorney General to recommend the firing of a man who's leading an investigation that he recused himself from?
I think so. I support the General Sessions and Rosenstein. I think they did the right thing. I think that was incumbent on them to conduct that analysis, and they did. They reached their conclusion. The President did take a bold step. But again, I think you're talking about an investigation involving the entire Bureau of Investigation with a lot of professional investigators and prosecutors involved, and I have total confidence that they will pick up the ball and run with it. Now the question will be who will be leading the FBI, and I'm very anxious and interested to know who that is. I suspect it will be someone who has the confidence of both Republicans and Democrats.
I have to take a quick commercial break, but I'd love to talk to you on the other side of it about what names might come to mind about who that person might be. And also, I'd like you to address for our viewers, they're hearing a lot of different things from lawmakers, including some suggestion that we're on the verge of a constitutional crisis. I want to ask you about that as well, Senator. So quick commercial break, back with Senator Strange in just a moment. A Fox News alert and new reaction from Alabama Senator Luther Strange, who's been nice enough to join us on the breaking news that we continue to take in about James Comey's firing. We just heard from the Vice President, Senator, and that was unexpected, and he had a few things to say about the actions by the President. He said that he was grateful for the actions by President Trump, that he made the right decision, but he also went further and he said he took strong, decisive leadership to put the safety of the American people first. Why are we safer without James Comey?
Well, I'm not sure what the context of that comment was, but to get back to your question about the constitutional crisis, or will we find the right person to lead?
Are we safer? Are we less safe? I mean, we are trying to figure out who to trust. This guy was the head of the FBI. He now no longer is the head of the FBI. We don't know who's going to lead the FBI. And the Vice President is saying that the safety of the American people is part of this decision. Do you believe that we're safer without James Comey?
I'm just not familiar with what the context of that statement might be. So I would want to comment on that without knowing a little bit more about what he might have been referring to on that. I was really referring more to his decision to replace him and the process that went into that.
Well, let me ask you, do you think we were actually in some sort of danger with James Comey leading the FBI?
Not to my knowledge, but again, I don't have all the information the Vice President may have been referring to,
Okay.
so I better defer on that.
That was an interesting comment that's really stuck out to me, so we'll try to get
Right.
that sound, and maybe we'll talk more about it as well throughout our show.
Great.
As we talked about before the break, there are some that are saying that we're on the verge of a constitutional crisis, especially your friends on the other side of the aisle. What do you think about that? Are we?
I don't believe that. I think the process worked as the way it was supposed to work. I think that Rod Rosenstein was confirmed again by 94 senators, Republicans and Democrats. So if we can confirm a Deputy Attorney General with bipartisan support who is totally respected by all sectors of the political spectrum to do the right thing, then I'm confident, just based on that we will find an FBI director who will restore confidence in the office and give comfort to all of those who are concerned about a new director.
If the goal of the Russians is to cause discord in the American public and discord and distrust of the American government, are the Russians winning?
I don't think the Russians are winning, but I don't doubt for 1 minute that they're trying to sow discord and distrust, and I think that's why decisive leadership by our president, by our Department of Justice is critical. And again, I have great confidence in the way the system worked and Deputy Director Rosenstein. And I'm confident, based on the people that the president has nominated in the past for the Supreme Court, for example, that he will find an absolutely star performer to take over the FBI. And I look forward to that happening sooner rather than later.
Senator Strange, it's great to have you back on the program. Thank you so much.
Many thanks.